Peace and blessings, Mishpachah. Yes, all praises to the Most High. We've made it to Yom Ravi'i. This is the fourth day. We give the Most High praise for blessing us to arrive at this very moment where the family can come together and spend time together and, get into some scriptures, get knee deep into truth. And hey, I'm Morey Melchior Uriel, and I'm happy to just be in this moment right now. I do have some things to share with you. And once I do, listen, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a wonderful discussion. And hey, we'll be right back. We're going to be talking about, as you know, the directed presence of the Most High. Now, this is in relationship to quantum entanglement and the Most High. So, hey, stick with us. Get your pens, pads, get your Tanakh. Let's go.
Melchior Uriel. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
Yes, all praises to the Most High. Yes, I'm kind of tempted to do that song right now, but you know what? We have a lot to discuss. We're going to go right in. We're going to get right to it. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. We're very glad to be here. All praises to the Most High. We give you praise, O Most High. We thank you for this moment. Open up our eyes and our hearts. In fact, we open up the doors of our eyes and our heart that we may hear, that we may see, that we may receive from you. And nachnu omerim lefneka she'ha'ainayim gam ha'uznayim ham betokim lefneka. We say that our eyes and ears are open before you, and we are here to learn. Anaknu po lelamed et hakol she'ata rotze natalanu. All that you want to give us, we will learn. We honor you, Most High. We bless you. We praise you. In your name and your name alone, Yah. Aman wa aman. Well, hey, we want you to know that as we are here, we're giving praise to the Most High. We're happy. We celebrate the Most High. Hallelujah. We give him all the praise, the glory, and the honor. Listen, we are continuing our journey as we dive deeper into the realms of spirituality within the Tanakh. I serve you notice that the Tanakh is itself a very spiritual book. It is highly spiritual. And yes, there's a lot going on in the Tanakh because men have had their hands on the Tanakh, and some have done what they wanted to do with the Tanakh, but yet and still, there's truth in the Tanakh, there's wisdom in the Tanakh. And there are spiritual paths that are laid out in the Tanakh, many of which are hidden in plain sight, some of which we're going to talk about tonight, in Yom Ravi'i, the fourth day, and we're going to talk about it beginning right here and right now. Let's go ahead and let's go into the word of the Most High as we embrace this subject, as we talk about this subject, as we deal with this truth of actually understanding and embracing the presence, the directed presence of the Most High. Now, what do we mean when we talk about the directed presence? Well, I'm going to give you an example of that, and we're going to go right into the Tanakh. And I'm going to remind you once again of something that is, how can I say it? It's something that we've seen perhaps a million times, or at least it feels like a million times. And there's many things because of familiarity that we miss. And this is one of those things where we actually, and you know what? I usually give shout outs, don't I? I really do. I really do give shout outs before we get into the word of the Most High. Let me respect the room. I apologize. I do respect the room. Let's real quick, let's go ahead and go in. Peace and blessings to Bergen Paris, who is the chief moderator. And yes, to Josh and Penny, my family are here. Bless you, my brother, my sister. I do give honor and praise to the Most High. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Glad that you guys are here. George Evans is up in here, y'all. Peace and blessings to my brother George Evans. Bless you, my brother. I'm glad that you are here. And it looks like, we're going to start out with those that we have, right? We're going to start out with what we have. We know others are going to be watching and others are going to be coming in. But let's go ahead and let's go in. Let's deal with it. Let's talk about it. And let's go into the word of the Most High. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you an example of the directed presence of the Most High. And we're going to take a look with fresh eyes. We're going to take a look at passages in the Tanakh that we have seen, but let's look at them, okay, once again, with a renewed perspective. Here we go. Going in, we have Bereshit 1 and 1. Achad, we have here in the beginning, okay, in the beginning of cyclical time, in the beginning of this era, in the beginning of this present stage of three-dimensional reality, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. And we've heard that many times before, okay? And the earth was without form, okay? And it was void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Now, here's what I want you to see, and here's what I want you to pay attention to, how it witnesses to us that Haaretz, the earth, was without form and it was void, meaning that what it lacked structure, it lacked definition, it lacked form, okay, because it was formless, and it did not have the ability to produce in its present state. Everything was there, okay, and we're going to come back to that principle, but everything was there, but it needed to be separated and given a purpose, and we're going to talk about that a little later. But notice here in the scriptures, notice what's happening. While the earth is without form and void, the earth is full of potential, right? So notice what happens. When darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the earth was without form and void, it had no ability to produce, but it did have the potential to produce. Notice what happens in verse number 2. And Haruach Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. Wherever you see the presence and the spirit of the Most High moving, there is about to be a transitional change. There's about to be a metamorphosis, because what happens is that the spirit and the presence of the Most High, it moves in a direction, and it moves in such a way that it brings about change and transformation, and there will always be a greater definition. There will always be more ability, more productivity, more power, more potency, more of everything, okay, because of the presence and the spirit of the Most High and his change upon the very thing that his spirit is moving upon. So whenever you see the spirit of the Most High, something is getting ready to happen. Something is getting ready to happen, and it's going to be transformative. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be life-changing, because the Spirit of the Most High is moving in that and in that area. Well, notice here, immediately thereafter, when the Spirit of the Most High was moving and was present in the midst of this three-dimensional chaos, it's then that the Most High began to direct, if you will. Let me put it this way for the sake of clarity and for the sake of understanding. The Most High began to direct specifically what he wanted to pull out of that mass of void and darkness and so forth and so on. I mean, he began to move upon it, and the first thing that you notice was that he created light. Okay? He created light. Now, many people have thought, and I listen, I'm not going to get knee deep into science right now. We're not going to talk about photons and bosons and quarks and leptons. We're not going to talk about, all of these subatomic particles, but suffice it to say that when the Most High allowed his presence to cover the area all over this seemingly, chaotic mass, the Most High could see everything within that chaotic mass that was of value, that was of purpose, and that things that he could use. He was able to pull it out and arrange it and structure it, and so we have the existence of the world in which we live today. Well, that being the case, I believe that it's because the Spirit of the Most High, which has a divine intelligence to it, you are witness to that divine intelligence. Every time something comes towards your eye and you blink even before you saw it, that's that divine intelligence at work. You being asleep, but yet your heart knows how to beat and knows how to take care of you and yet monitors your system. That divine consciousness is yet with you even when you're sleeping, even when your body is nullified. That's that divine presence of the Most High. I'm talking about that divine presence of the Most High that operates in the cells and give the cells their function. Do you not know that you have cells within your body that have not just the potential and the ability, but they have the job of resculpting your body? Yes, they have the job of resculpting. If you were to break a bone, there are cells that will go, and according to the DNA blueprint within you, those cells will go and resculpt and shape. And listen, I'm talking about shaving and smoothing out bone to make it look, according to what the blueprint says that's locked in the DNA. Our Elohim is amazing. He has created us. He's made us, and we are fearfully and wonderfully made. The human body has been studied, and it has been determined that if it were not for the little levels of entropy, the little levels of error that's built into our cells, okay, when they reproduce, we would literally live forever. There are some people who can eat and drink a little of nothing and yet remain alive for decades. I'm telling you, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. All praises to the Most High. And the Most High knows what he's doing in that he has made us. And it is not we ourselves, but it is he that has made us. Well, when we take a look at this, we understand that the Spirit of the Most High dwelt first, and the Spirit was imparted first, and then the Spirit of the Most High began to move. Looking at this from the standpoint of quantum entanglement, we first recognize the infinite potential that is there. The earth being without form and void, it is endless potential. Okay, it is the endless potential that's there. The Spirit of the Most High moves in, okay, and we know that he has already assessed the situation, because in verse number 3, he begins to pull light out, right? He begins to call light forth. And the picture that is being drawn here, my brothers and sisters, is that, listen, Mishpachah, the Most High is pulling out of what is there. Now, here's the interesting thing. It says that there's darkness, and the first thing that he created was light. Well, even though this is not the topic, even though this is not the subject of this lesson, this is not the topic of this lesson, but I will say this, that what many of us has understood, as darkness to be the absence of light. Now, in this three-dimensional realm in which we live, yes, we look at darkness as the absence of light. But from a structure standpoint, from a standpoint of reality itself, darkness is actually an opposite of light, in that it is its complement, perhaps in another dimension. Think of it that way. And so light then was present. Light is not absent, and I know how this is going to sound when I say it, but light is not absent in darkness. It's just like with the air, right? There is heat in the air even in the wintertime. And I know how I know how that sounds, right? But there's heat and energy in the air even in the wintertime. And you're just like in the summertime, you're able to get a breeze that is able to cool you. Well, see, the Most High, his spirit was moving over the face of the waters, and I believe that his spirit was observing everything, and I believe that there was, if you will, the potential of the Most High, the infinite potential of the Most High, looked at the formlessness of the earth, and because the earth itself was without form and void, the wisdom, the dynamic wisdom, the infinite wisdom of the Most High could see and know everything that was there, even though it was in a chaotic state, it was in a chaotic form. This is also how the Most High is able to look at us and behold us and see us as individuals. And even though we may sometimes feel as if, we're messed up, we can't do this, we can't do that, and oh, I did this with my life and my life is just so, messed up. Well, the Most High is able to look in the chaos and see the beauty and see the good, and he's able to draw it out and put it in its place. We're going to keep coming back to that point where things are being put in their place, which is what the Most High is doing. He's putting things in their place. They were all jumbled together, right? Notice what confusion is, okay? Think about the word confusion. Confusion, meaning with, fusion meaning to be connected together, to be fused together. Everything being connected and fused together brings about confusion. But the Most High can see, oh, I see where this belongs. It's almost like someone drops a vase and it shatters into hundreds of pieces. The Most High is able to look at every piece and know exactly where they belong. And this is what we see in Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 all the way down. This is what the Most High is doing. So this is the directed presence of the Most High, where the Most High goes from the Merachafet, or the actual what they call the chariot of the Most High, him moving about. He goes from that into directing and pulling out of the chaos that he needs. He's pulling out of the jumble that he needs. And if the Most High can do it with the earth being without form and void, don't you think, no matter what you've done with your life, don't you think that he can't do it with you? He's able. Listen, we can't unscramble an egg, but the Most High can certainly unscramble the egg, put it back together again. See, Humpty Dumpty should have prayed. That's what he should have did. Humpty Dumpty, I tell you, the Most High can unscramble an egg, and he can put it all back together again. And so this is what we see in creation. Well, now, in talking about the directed presence of the Most High, let's draw this even closer and make this even more a pinpointed reality as we take a look at the Tanakh. Notice what it reads here in Exodus chapter 4. We're going to be introduced to a tool that the Most High is going to create right in front of us. Let's take a look at it. Exodus chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. Notice what it reads. And Moshe answered and said, but behold, listen, I know you're sending me to Egypt. You want me to talk to Pharaoh. I don't even want to do it. I don't even think I can do it. And even when I do, let's say if I said yes, even if I said yes, the people are not going to believe me. The people are just not going to believe me. And man, I need something. People aren't going to believe me. Well, the Most High says right here, says, look, and Yah said unto him, what is that in your hand? What is that in your hand? Now, at this particular point, Moshe is in the plains of Midian. He is watching over his father-in-law, Yithro. He's watching over Aruel. He's watching over his sheep, married to his daughter, and Moshe is minding his own business, but he has this rod in his hand, okay, because he is a shepherd, right? So the Most High sees the rod that Moshe has in his hand, which, by the way, a shepherd, many of us think of a shepherd as someone who's calm and meek and mild, and I'm a shepherd. No, a shepherd back in the day. What can we liken a shepherd to in our modern day vernacular, in our modern day understanding? A shepherd back in the day was like unto a kung fu martial artist listen, don't you know that they fought the wild animals and the beasts? They would go and they would fight a lion and try their best to take the lamb out of the teeth of the lion. You have to understand, shepherds were no joke. That's why many shepherds were proven on the field, and that's why they were often anointed to be king, because they proved themselves to be B-A-double-D bad. In other words, you don't mess with them. You don't mess with them. They know how to fight. They know how to protect. They don't take any stuff, and they know how to watch over that is precious. They know how to watch over that is meek and timid and mild, and they know how to be a warrior. That's exactly what a shepherd is. So the Most High looks at Moshe, and he's looking at Moshe in his present state of chaos, and he sees the good in Moshe, and he is able to see that good, and he now has to draw it out. But notice here, verse number 2, and Yah said unto him, he says, what is that in your hand? Moshe had a rod, and he says, man, I got this big stick. That's what I got. I got this big stick. And he said, cast it down to the ground. And he cast it down to the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moshe fled from before it. And Yah said unto Moshe, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail, which is something you would never do. You would never do that to a snake. The last thing you would do is grab a snake by the tail. You always grab a serpent by the back of the head, right? But hey, the Most High said, I want you to place yourself in a very vulnerable position. I want to show you that I got this. So Moshe does it, right? Moshe does this, and he puts forth his hand, and he caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. Now listen, I just want you to understand the experience. I want you to understand that Moshe just ran from this thing because this thing was a real snake. I don't know if it was a boa constrictor. I don't know if it was a poisonous asp. I don't know what it was. However, Moshe ran from this thing because it was very real. He thought he was about to be bitten. So Moshe ran, right? Well, then he picks it up by the hand. And what Moses feels as he's picking this thing up is when he picks it up, he is actually feeling this serpent go from a very clammy, cold-blooded type of a fleshy feel in his hand, to an actual stick, the very stick and rod that he was accustomed to. He's like, man, I'm convinced. And notice he didn't bring that up anymore. He's like, man, okay. And so in this, the Most High uses the rod of Moshe. He uses his rod, and this is not all. The Most High never does anything and just let it be at that one thing. Meaning, this is not the only time that this rod is going to come into the equation. This rod is going to be something that Moshe uses again and again. As we go all the way down to verse number 20, look at chapter 4, and we're going to notice here in verse number 20, let me highlight it for you so that you can read it. And it says here, and Moshe took his wife and his sons and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe took what? The rod of God in his hand. Now, this thing it's become something notable. It's become something notable, and now it's being called the rod of God. It was something that came about in the presence. Once again, there you go again. You have the presence of the Most High. The presence of the Most High was in the burning bush. Moses stepped into the presence of the Most High. The Most High said, throw your rod down. Now, he threw his rod down in the presence. Okay, in the presence of the Most High. And from then on, the rod was considered to be the rod of God. Stick with me, give me just a few more minutes. The rod of God was then used, okay? The rod of God was then used by the Most High and by Moshe, and was a point of contact for the very spirit and presence of the Most, and power of the Most High. The rod of God became a point of contact for the Spirit of the Most High, the power of the Most High, okay? And we notice here that it was then used in circumstances and in situations. So you see here, when Moshe left, he took with him the rod of God in his hand. Now, let's do this. Let's get an understanding here. Let's take a look here. This is Exodus 17 and 9. Okay. And Moshe said unto Yehoshua, choose out men and go out and fight with Amalek tomorrow. Notice what Moshe says. He says, I will stand on the top of the hill with what? With the rod of God in mine hand. I'm going to stand there with the rod of God in my hand. So Yehoshua did as Moshe had said unto him, and fought with Amalek. And Moshe, Aharon, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. Notice verse 11. And it came to pass that when Moshe held up his hands, that Israel prevailed, and when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. Verse 12, but Moshe's hands were very heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him so he could have a seat, so he could lean back. And he sat thereon, and Aharon and Hur stayed upon his hands, stayed up his hands. In other words, they're holding his hands up, right? The one on the one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. Verse number 13, and Yehoshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And this was so notable until, look, Yah said unto Moshe, write this for a memorial in a book and rehearse it in the ears of Yehoshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Now, notice here, when Moshe held up his hands, I need you to see this, because we're talking about the directed presence of the Most High. Moshe goes up to a place where he can see, where he can observe the battle, and he said, I'm going to take the rod of God in my hand. So he takes the rod up there, right? And he's stretching it forth, right? I'm constrained, so I can't demonstrate here, but he stretches it forth. And the children of Israel are winning. The children of Israel are kicking hiney big time. But when Moshe drops his hands, then Amalek starts to gain the advantage. So then I ask, what then is it about the posture of Moshe that brought about the spiritual edge, or that allowed the potency of the Spirit of the Most High to affect that situation? How is it that Moses' posture affected the battle when he had the rod of God in his hand? How is it that his posture, how come he couldn't just stick it in the ground? Right? How can he just stick it in the ground like a signpost and they win the battle? Why was it that Moshe had to hold his hands out to the left and to the right? Why was it that he had to do that? It was necessary because it was a demonstration in the directed presence of the Most High. It's us cooperating with the Most High and with the Spirit of the Most High and what the Spirit of the Most High wants to do to bring about victory, okay? To bring about victory and to bring about His will. Let me do this because there's something else that has just come to mind. I want you to see something here. This is not the first time that the Most High has allowed there to be a divine demonstration. What do you talk about divine strength? I'm talking about that point of contact where the physical meets the spiritual and they come together in like a unified dance. What are you talking about? Well, I'm about to give you another example. There is a passage of scripture, I believe it to be in Kings, and let me find it for you real quick, because there was a time when the prophet came unto the king, and the king was, the king wasn't feeling so well, the king wasn't doing too good. And so the Most High sent the prophet to the king. And let me just show you this here. Oh man, listen, I'm telling you, this is a very spiritual book. And let's see here. Let me find this. Here we go. All right, so the king, let me find it, okay. Yeah, here we go. Let me show you this real quick. This is 2 Kings, let's go here, 2 Kings 13. 2 Kings 13, look at verse number 14. 2 Kings 13 and 14. Here we go. Now Elisha was fallen sick of a sickness whereof he died, and Joash the king of Israel came down unto him and wept over his face and said, "O my father, the chariot of Israel and the horsemen thereof." And verse number 15, look at verse number 15. And Elisha said unto him, now notice what's happening here. Notice, he says, take a bow and take arrows. Notice he takes something physical that he would use in war. Elisha said, take bows and arrows. And he took unto him bows and arrows, and he said unto the king of Israel, put thine hand upon the bow. My. Put your hand upon the bow. All of this is prophetic symbolism, but it's demonstrating the power of the Most High, and it's tapping into that divine energy of the Most High that is going to control the quantum, the subatomic quantum field, if you allow me to say it that way. That's the way I'm putting it. That's the way I understand it, that the Most High is about to direct what is going to be physically by tapping into that quantum field of potential, and now he's going to infuse his spiritual will into that quantum potential, okay? And he's doing it by means of this demonstration. Notice what happens here. In 2 Kings 13 and 15, and Elisha said to him, look, take bows, arrows, okay, he did. And he says, now put your hand upon the bow. And he put his hand upon it, and Elisha put his hand upon the king's hand. adding power to the demonstration. And he said, open the window eastward. And he opened it. Then Elisha said, excuse me. Then Elisha said, shoot the arrows. And he shot, and he said, the arrow of Yah's deliverance. Now, wait a minute. Please understand, this was just a simple arrow that he shot out of the window. No different than someone practicing. No different than a kid playing around. But this became significant spiritually. Why? Because the spiritual presence of the Most High was directed into the activity. You got to hear me, my brothers and sisters. The Spirit of the Most High was directed into the activity with a very specific intent and purpose of bringing about a reality to pass. It was there. And so that is what made the shooting of that arrow out the window more than just someone practicing, more than just a kid playing around, more than just someone, trying to pass the time of day. That is what made the difference. The Spirit of the Most High being entangled quantumly in that activity. My goodness. I really wish you could hear this to the deepest depths of your soul, because that is what makes the difference in this particular session here. Now notice what happens. And he put his hand on the bow, right? And Elisha put his hands upon the king's hand, and he said, open the window eastward, and he opened it, and he shot. Verse 17, and second clause, and he said, the arrow of Yah's deliverance. The arrow of Yah's deliverance. They had programmed the future based upon what they did in that moment. I'll say it again. They programmed the future based upon what they did in that moment. Tapping into the Spirit of the Most High and then directing that quantum field of potential with intention and purpose. They programmed the future and caused the future to manifest. Yeah, I said that word on purpose. Manifest not the will of men, but the will of the Most High. Hallelujah. And as we continue, notice the arrow of deliverance from Syria. For you shall smite the Syrians in Aphek. Even giving you a location. They're programming the future. And he says, for you shall smite the Syrians in Aphek until you have consumed them. Look at verse number 18, because it gets better. Notice what happens here. And he said, take the arrows. Now that the king understands what's going on, right? He really should understand and get the drift of what's going on. And he said, take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, smite upon the ground. Now notice, this is all, listen, this is prophetic symbolism, and this is preparing the future and establishing what is going to happen in the future by doing this with the presence and under the direction of the Most High, but with the intention to bring about a reality in the future. See, this is the difference between manifestation, modern day manifestation, and just getting what you want. And I can manifest this in 4 days. I can manifest this in 10 days. Listen, it's not built upon your greed. It's not built upon your will and your lust. You're not superseding the will of the Most High with your will, what you want. No, this is you being directed by the Spirit and by the presence of the Most High to bring about a future that He has designed for your life. Hallelujah. High five, somebody. Okay, so as we take a look here, notice. Okay, and he said, take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, smite upon the ground. And he smote thrice, and stayed. Elisha was like, dude, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Man, that was your opportunity. What's wrong? Like opening up a prison and someone doesn't go out. It's like, man, what is up, dude? What 3 times, really? Really? That's all you're gonna do? Really? Well, notice why. Notice why. Only 3 times, and he stayed. Now notice what the prophet said. And the man of God was wroth with him and said, look, man, you should have known what was going on. Why you playing around? Why you only hit 3 times? It says you should have smitten 5 or 6 times. Then had you have smitten Syria till you had consumed it. Not just them and that location of Aphek, but you would have actually taken Syria and consumed all of Syria. Whereas now, you shall only smite Syria but 3 times. 3 times. That's all you programmed the future for, was 3 times. All you did is just hit 3 times. That's all you did. You just hit 3 times, and you programmed the future for a 3-time victory, and that's it. We're witnessing the directed presence of the Most High. In other words, let me explain to you what the directed presence is if you haven't gleaned what I'm talking about already. The directed presence of the Most High is where the Most High is present, even though he's omnipresent, right? But he is present at a particular place for a particular purpose, for a specific intent at a specific time. That is the directed presence of the Most High. And you see it outlaid for you here, and that the Most High is showing us how to change and how to bring about his will in the earth. You simply listen. Again, let me just repeat. And let's go here again, because the prophet said, take the arrows and smite them on the ground. I mean, this could have been a child taking arrows and playing and smiting, hitting them on the ground. It could have been somebody playing drumsticks or something, using arrows for. But what made the difference, my brothers and my sisters, family, Mishpachah, what made the difference is that the spirit and the presence of the Most High was present and directive, and with the intention enwrapped and engulfed within that physical activity. It made that physical activity powerful enough to program the future. Hallelujah. It made it powerful enough to program the future. Listen. Let me just calm down and take a break here. Listen, I'm not going to be able to get through everything that I have here. We're just barely scratching the surface of what I had, but I want you to see, and I want you to know that when it comes to this, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Because I have actually done this. Okay? Not with arrows, but with other objects. And believe me when I tell you, listen, you get the spirit of the Most High, and you allow, you just, by means of your own intuition, you begin to intuit what it is that is the will of the Most High, and you do something physical out of that reality. Listen, that's some powerful stuff. I'm going to take a break, and then we're going to tap into the chat room and see what you all are asking, what you all are saying, and then we're going to get out of here, all right? Be right back. here, Uriel, and I'm so delighted to meet you. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you clicked on the video. All right, we are back, my brothers and sisters. And listen, I'm telling you, I am excited. I am excited. Hallelujah. And I just, wow. Oh, man, I get to talking about this and I get excited. I love it. I love it. I love it. Peace and blessings to all of the family that's here. Who else may have crept in here without us knowing it? Looks like... Okay, good, good. It's all good is in the house. My brother Adrian. Peace and blessings to you, my brother Adrian. My sister Jacqueline E. Buggs is also here. Roderick Huggy is here. Royal Renewal is also here. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. I'm glad that you are here. And did I miss Repentant and Saved? Hey, 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 my sister. Peace and blessings to you and your husband. Glad to see ya. Glad to see. Man, I want to meet y'all. I just want to meet, man. I want to connect with my family. I really do. Really do. Let's see here. Did I miss anyone? I'm trying my best not to miss anyone, but I'm scrolling through rather quickly. And Gilly is in the house. Peace and blessings to you, Gilly. Man, when are you coming back, Gilly? Come on, man. When you coming back? My goodness. In Burkina Faso. Okay, okay. Say hey to Trore for me. Tell him I say what's up. My sister Christine Croning is here. Peace and blessing to you, my sister. Glad that you are here. Let's see. Did I get everyone? Did I get everyone? I believe I did. Yes, I did. So at this particular time, my brothers and sisters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up so that, yes, you can ask your questions. You can ask your questions. You can state your comments. I want to give a few minutes for that. And yes, I am definitely excited about tonight's sharing. I am definitely excited. Yeah, I agree with you, Christine Croning. I too want to meet everybody here. I really do. I love my family. I really do. Love my family. So yeah, I'm opening it up for questions and comments concerning the topic, concerning what I have been discussing. And hey, I don't know about you, maybe it's just me, but I'm excited. I'm telling you, I am just, man, talking about what I'm talking about, it thrills me. And it's letting me know that I need to talk about it a whole lot more, right? Yeah. Let me do this. While you all are, I guess you're thinking about what to say or to ask, I'm just going to give it a few minutes. And if there isn't, then hey, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to... Are increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation and as a family, and you are needed. You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Navi Beit University so that you can take your place in the kingdom. Now is the time to prepare to create Hebraically centered scholarly materials to educate others, to teach your family, to teach your sons, your daughters, to teach the young, to teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Beit University, connect with the administrator and the registrars, and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate's program. You can get a degree with a Hebraic focus at Navi Beit University. Hebraic education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses. All right, definitely back. Here we are. Okay, and I just simply want to say I have definitely enjoyed myself tonight. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, hey, my brothers and my sisters, I know that we have so many more watching us than there are in the chat room. Those of you that are watching, listen, if you are watching for the first time, then you should see and understand, one, that we are different than many other Hebrew groups that are out there. One, we're not a camp. Excuse me. We're not a camp. We don't teach hate. And we are family. We love each other. And as you can see, we take the Tanakh and we go to the next level with it. We're talking about a deep level of spirituality and truth that is interwoven into the Tanakh. We're not fighting over who has the correct seats or who knows the correct pronunciation of a Hebrew word. No, we are not going to major on the minors, but we are focusing on the presence and the Spirit of the Most High and emulating and being like the Most High and just walking in His ways, keeping the law, statutes, and the commandments. That's what we're doing. We want you to join us. Subscribe to this channel. We have a couple of websites that are coming up. We're remaking the websites, and we want you to join us. We want you to be a part of this because we believe wholeheartedly that the Most High wants us to focus on being more like Him and being unified together and empowered and able to do things in the spiritual realm, being a people of power, rather than just being a people that are complaining about the present day conditions and what someone is doing to us. Subscribe, be a part of us. We embrace you if you keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. My sister Jacqueline says, do you think manifestations require proof that we believe by taking actions? Okay, it's not that proof is necessary. Your question, okay, you're asking whether or not I think that manifestations require proof that we believe by taking action. Our taking action is not trying to coerce something into being. It's demonstrating a new reality. Okay? It's demonstrating a new reality. And it's one of those things that, proof is not necessary. I mean, we don't have to, we don't have to prove anything to anyone. When the prophet told the king, put your hand upon the bow and shoot the arrow, it was because in that moment, the king was given a blessed opportunity to actually participate in what the Most High was doing for Israel. Okay? So again, he's demonstrating a future reality, right? And so that being the case, this is what we are able to do as well, under the direction of the Most High. Okay? And it's His will that's being brought to pass and not our own manifestation because we lusting after something or we saw, we want to be like someone else. No, it has nothing to do with that. Okay? That being the case, let's I don't know if there are any other questions or comments. I'm going to just wait just a little bit. Tell you what, I'll be right back, and if there are no other questions or comments, then we're going to say Auf Wiedersehen for this here session. Be right back. All right, we are back. And you know what? Looks like the room is fine and satiated. So am I. I'm at peace. And I am rejoicing on the inside. I am rejoicing on the inside. I love where we're going, and I'm glad that you're going with us. I'm glad that you're here. Let's take this journey and let's make this journey together, right? And let's grow in the presence of the Most High. Well, peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you. I love you, my family. And I want to say, hey, Yah willing, we will see you back here on Shabbat morning, in between the window of 11 to 11:15. If I have technical difficulties, it might be 11:30. But that's Central Standard Time. We will meet you back here for Shabbat morning coffee. All right, Shabbat morning coffee. And also, too, I want to consider this question, my brothers and sisters, whether or not we want to start earlier than 11ish. Okay. All right. Yes, we can, Gilly. We can talk. We can chat. When I get a moment, we definitely can. I'll try and reach out to you tomorrow, okay? Y'all willing. All right, peace and blessings to you, fam. I love you, each and every one of you. You're my family, you're my heart. I love you. And hey, we will, y'all willing, we'll see you for Shabbat morning coffee. Peace and blessings to you. I'm out.